Hey, Wargamers. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Yeah, so today we are going to work on some battles. I know I had planned on doing some painting, but of course it turned out that that was not not quite in the cards yet. I have a little bit more work I have to do. Just check with you guys. Okay, I'm going to assume that you can. Anyway, so basically, I am trying to upgrade my crisis suits. A lot of the crisis suits that I have are the old ones, and I actually haven't assembled the new ones yet. So this is my first time assembling the new ones. I've had these start collecting boxes sitting on my table for quite some time, and yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now, is working on that. But I also have a few models I have to paint in the very near future in preparation for the 40K Chronicles event at the end of September. So quite a bit of work to do, especially for me, because I am very very slow on my painting. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So yeah, I guess I should start working on that. A few things I want to talk about today. I have a list of things that I thought would be cool to chat about. But of course, if you guys have questions, comments, or concerns, throw them in the chat, and we can talk about them as well. But kind of the first thing I want to talk about was how the new Marine Codex is looking, and it looks super strong. I know that's a popular opinion. I'm not really telling you anything you didn't already know, but I think it looks really good, and it makes me feel a little excited. Not from the perspective of a Battelle player, but from the perspective of someone who picked up half of the Shadow Spear box. So I am going to be using those guys and fleshing out that force with the Vanguard Marines. I think picking up a couple of those tactical war suits would be pretty darn cool. Yeah, you do see a XV9 there. I have another one. He's in the box. He's in his casing right now. But yeah, I have a XV9 here that I'm really excited to paint. This is a model that I have loved ever since it was first produced, and for a long time I don't know. This was pretty naive of me, but for a long time I thought that the new crisis suits, whenever they came out, were going to have an aesthetic more like that, just because the XV9 was produced by Forge World. I thought that maybe that meant that they were going to kind of go in that direction for the Tau technology. Of course, that's not what they did, and I generally like what they did with these crisis suits more than if they had gone with the XV9 aesthetic. But overall, I love that model. I'm super excited to paint. I think I'm going to lean much more into the whites and grays with this than I do with my normal battle suits, just because I've been feeling the lighter colors lately. Yes, Scott, these are Red Dog Minis, dual fusion blasters, or however you want to call that. Yeah, and yeah, they work out really well. I like them for the Cold Star in particular, just because of course he lacks mounting surfaces. You can a lot of people put the weapons up on the side here, and indeed I've done that as well. Let's see, right? You can mount it like that, and hey, that actually looks pretty good like that, with the double fusion blaster. I kind of like that. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty cool. So I might leave it like that, but I have to paint him. So yeah. So with the new Marine Codex, I'm pretty excited about it. I'm going to pick up a couple of those war suits, and some more of whatever these guys are. I don't know. There's so many versions of Incessor, Inceptor, Intercessor. I don't know what these guys are. I'm sure it's something really obvious, but you know, the Phobos armor guys, I'm going to pick up more of these guys, pick up some of those war suits, and I think that's going to make for a pretty fun list. I know Gil, you know, Gil's my friend who plays Blood Angels. He's really excited about it because he's been, you know, as a Blood Angels player, he has always wanted me to play Imperial Fists, and I want to paint a yellow army, so I'm going to play Imperial Fists with those guys. And I think that actually worked out pretty darn well for a few reasons, but I think the rules for Imperial Fist look pretty good. Maybe not the best. Maybe not the best in the new Codex, but certainly not bad. So I'm looking forward to playing around with that. You know, of course, I say that now, and we'll see how much time I actually get to do that. But overall, I think that would be fun. Right. Yeah, the ion blasters from Red Dog. I use I have the ion blasters. Well, the old ion blasters from Red Dog, and that's what I use. That's what I use for the most part. Here are those. I do have enough cyclic ion blasters now that I probably don't need to use those ones, but they're not painted, they're not magnetized, so I just keep using the Red Dog ones. And I mean, honestly, I do like the GW version better. I think it's sleeker. I think it has higher resolution, higher detail. It fits with the aesthetic a little bit more. The Red Dog ones are a bit bulky for me, but they meet a need, and that need is for cyclic ion blasters. So I'm happy with that. All right. Yeah, I was gonna have John Paulson on the channel at one point in the past, and that fell apart. I don't know why, but I thought it would be fun to talk to him about his process and what he does and everything. So unfortunately, that, like I said, that didn't happen, but would still be cool if you know, we were able to pull it together. I'd be happy to chat with him. I think he does good work. All right. So I was thinking of using Guardian drones more for the 5-up invulnerable save against Marines. Seems really good rapid fire on bolters, and I think, yeah. So yeah, I think that's like a really good point. Is that, you know, the better bolters, but I mean, even those bolters at the most are going to be -1, aren't they? So I mean, I could be wrong about that. If they're -2, then that would be worth it. But if they're only -1, it doesn't really matter, because you're already, you know, you're going to be go from 4 to 5, and that's going to be the invuln save you get anyway. So, all right. Yeah. All right. I bought a Tau army. I think I'm going to try a Macross Robotech UN Spacey color scheme for them. Mostly wine colored heads on highlighted areas. Any thoughts? Yeah. So you want to do? I mean, that's cool. Like, I'm always a fan of people that come up with innovative, coherent color schemes. If you do something like, you know, we'll reference World of Warcraft here, right? So WoW Classic is coming out, and one of the things that really made WoW Classic visually distinct from its successors was the fact that, you know, you get gear and it would be hodgepodge and messy, and you'd have, you know, a green shirt and, you know, a red hat and a blue pant and whatever. It'd be all over the place. If you do that with your color scheme for Tau or any other army in Warhammer, it doesn't look as good. It looks disorganized. And so if you're able to come up with a color scheme that isn't cookie cutter, isn't something that people do routinely, but is something that is, you know, innovative and reflects your preferences, that is coherent, I think that's great. And I mean, even if it's not coherent, do what you want, man. It's your army, have fun. But I'm a big fan if you can make it kind of follow some of those artistic design elements, I guess. I think that's great. So yeah, that sounds like a cool scheme. That sounds really cool. Oh, they're minus. Oh, okay. So they're -2 when they activate tactical doctrine. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, that might be a good use for them. If you think that you're primarily going to be facing Marines that are using tactical doctrine, then yeah, why not? You know, it's not. I'm still like I still get weary about using drones, with fire warriors just because you know you don't have a ton of them, so they're easy kill points and that sort of thing. But if you know the benefit outweighs the cost, then it's worth it. That'll be interesting to see. That's a good point. So I'll keep an eye out for that. If that seems to be like a continuing problem, then yeah, probably should go that route. Okay, yeah. So my bases, well, right now my bases have crisis soup legs all over them, but these bases are just the standard bases. Right, these are just the standard bases, and then I take. I don't have any around here right now, but you can buy like circular or rectangular or square cork coasters at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever your hobby store is. You can buy those, and you can tear them up and just put them on top here. That's all this is that torn up thin cork coaster. Tear it up, and I position them in a way that they kind of look like they cracked and came apart, and then I go in and put my watered down white glue on there and dunk it in sand, and that's how I get this. So it works okay. It's not perfect. It's certainly not something that you might see on some Games Workshop website or something like that in terms of masterfully crafted bases, but it works for me. I think it gets a good aesthetic, and it does something just to kind of make it pop a little bit more over, just a sanded base or anything like that. Having the cork on there adds some variation texture that I like. I mean, and you can kind of see I did that with these guys too. Of course, they've been primed already, so but yeah, that's basically how that works. Oh, I'm breaking up. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I'm probably shouting too loud, too close to the mic. Is this better now that I'm a little bit more quiet, a little bit more calm? All right, guys. We're done with Warhammer. We're doing ASMR now. Sit back, relax, enjoy the sounds of the plastic. Okay, that's a good way to lose subscribers fast. All right, yeah. So, they say that like a sharp blade is a safe blade, and I think when it comes to like a hobby knife, that's not true. I think that's not true because like I know exactly how much pressure I need to use with this rusty, beat up, crappy blade that I got from the dollar store, a decade ago. I know exactly how to use this blade. I feel like if I got a new blade, I would immediately cut myself. So, yeah. But yeah. So I'm excited about the new Marine Codex. Excited about some tau. I'm looking at maybe expanding my inventory of piranhas as well. Right now I have 3. I've never really used them beyond test games here and there. But I've been using them more lately, and I've been enjoying them. So I think maybe I should get a few more just to have on hand. Yep. Yep. Cool. All right. So while I'm doing this, so I do want to mention, so one of the channel update things I want to talk about and mention is that we have a sponsor now. We have like a regular sponsor for the channel. I'm really excited about that. It's Tabletop Ready Miniatures, and they are going to help us do a few things going forward here that I think you guys are going to like. I was planning on maybe talking about one of those things today, but I don't think I will. I'll wait until next month. So probably next week here, we'll talk about it a little bit more. Consider that like an official teaser or something. But yeah, I think you guys are gonna like it. We're gonna do something for my 8,000 subscriber milestone, which we hit a while ago now. Well, we're pretty far past 8,000, but yeah, we're gonna do something. We're gonna give something away. It's gonna be cool. Down in the missile pod instead of cyclic ion blasters. Yeah, I wonder. Well, I mean, missile pods don't. It's not like there's a difference in the chance of hitting with a cyclic ion blaster versus a missile pod. So I think the math still works out to be the same. And a lot of those abilities are range gated, right? So like if you're outside 12 inches, and so in some ways having a cyclic ion blaster might be better because you're going to be closer to use it, and you're going to by necessity be close, so you might as well have the cyclic ion blaster. I don't know. I don't think that's going to make a big influence on the relative value of a cyclic ion blaster versus a missile pod. Although I will say that as far as crisis suits are concerned, the story is pretty clear. But for broadsides, of course, broadsides are like the most point efficient damage dealers in the Codex. So, and they're using missile pods. So, I mean, go broadsides, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. If you're dealing with range, or if you're wanting to deal with missile pods, just amp up the broadsides. They're going to be the way to do it. So yeah, but so so we have Tabletop Ready Miniatures on board now. I'm excited that I've been able to partner with them. Notably, like you might be able to figure out based on the name, they're also a commission painting service. So they have that going too, and we might do something with that as well. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that, and I think it will make the channel better and the content better because we have this partnership. But that does mean that the intro changed a little bit. So if you noticed on like the Cotter Fireblade video, it was different. We started off with the sponsor acknowledgement right off the bat instead of doing the title card. Let me know what you guys think about that. Of course, I need to recognize a sponsor at the front, but there are there are variations on a theme. If you find that really distracting or disruptive, we can always work to improve. So let me know what you guys think in the chat or whatever. So, but yeah, again, thank you to Tabletop Ready Miniatures for partnering with us. I'm excited. So these crisis suits that I'm working on are for the 40K Chronicles event in September, and I'm bringing a list that's kind of like the list that I brought last year. Last year I brought a Riptide, and it did a lot of work, and particularly with the custom stratagems that they had was just a little overpowered. And so I'm not bringing Riptide this year. I'm bringing a couple Piranhas. I'm bringing the Hazard suit instead, and I think it's going to be a little bit more of a fluffy list. I think it'll be more dynamic and more fun to play with and against. But it doesn't mean I have to paint a bunch of stuff. And because I'm using these new crisis suits, I have to get them ready for that too. So I'm excited for for that event. It should be a lot of fun. It's not, you know, it's a narrative event. It's not a competitive event, which is, you know, good. I've actually been really enjoying the narrative events a lot more than the competitive events, just because of the atmosphere. You know, it's just so much more enjoyable to just go someplace where people are, you know, yeah, I mean, you'd like to win, but you know, that's not your primary objective. And you know, for someone that doesn't get as many games in as they used to, like myself, that type of atmosphere is really rewarding, because then I get to, you know, just focus on hanging out and having some fun, as opposed to dealing with any of the other type of stuff that comes along with a competitive environment. The 8. Okay, so I actually, instead of the Cotter Fireblade, I was sitting down and starting to write a review of the 8. And yeah, I got bogged down. I was like, you know what, I don't have time for this. But yeah. So the thing with the 8, the thing is with the 8 is that it takes forever to play them. There's so many itty bitty units that you have to move and you have to shoot with, and it just takes forever. And of course, you could make some choices that would optimize that process, make it go a little bit faster. But in doing so, you're probably going to sacrifice some of the tactical strength of the unit. So it's kind of, I don't know, not awesome. All right, I got to figure out which two of these I really want to be iridium armor. That's the main reason why I'm doing this, is because with the older crisis suits, I'm fine using them. I think that they're painted fine, and they're classic. I'm fine using them in a game, but if I want something to be iridium armor, I need to be able to have that be designated visually, and I'm not gonna hack up those older crisis suits. So that's why I'm building these, is primarily just to have the iridium armor models be different than the non-iridium armor models. That's a prime driver for having the crisis suits here. Okay. We'll say those two. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, something else that I've been working on here has been the Elements of the Empire Kickstarter, which I talked about whatever a while ago, and things just kind of have slowed down with that a little bit, unfortunately, due to just some logistical stuff. But it's still happening, still making progress. Just have to get the sculpts completed, and that's really been the challenging part. Something I didn't realize was so challenging about model production is going from the concept art. I mean, this sounds stupid. Going from the concept art stage to the 3D render is actually really challenging if you're not working intimately with that team, or if it's not the same person. The interpretation of a 2D drawing into a 3D figure is an imperfect translation. And I mean, like I said, I think that sounds kind of dumb to say, like, oh, hey, I thought that would be an easy process, but I didn't realize it was, and I didn't think it was going to be easy, but I thought it would be a little bit more intuitive than it has turned out to be. And so that's been the part of the hang up, is just actually getting the 3D sculpt to match the 2D art. I spent a lot of time getting the 2D art to be just the way I want it. And then you know, that I'm like, yes, do this, make this happen. And then we get to the 3D art part, and it's not exactly what I thought it would be. And there are things that need to be addressed and fixed and changed, and that's cool. It's an iterative process. You're always making tweaks here and there to get it closer and closer to some ideal, and that's fine. It just takes time. It takes more time than I thought it would, which is fine, like I said, but it takes time. So yeah, I think in the near future here, things will start ramping up with that a little bit, though. Heresy Lab, the people that are actually doing the Kickstarter, are wrapping up a previous Kickstarter right now in terms of like just mailing out stuff for that Kickstarter. You know, again, a good sign, right? Like they're delivering on what they said that they would, which is fantastic. They're taking time to do that right now, and so that's taking up a lot of their bandwidth. But once that's done, I think things will start picking up again with the elements of the Empire Kickstarter and getting that closer to launch. How about you guys? What are you working on right now? Are you actually at work or just hanging out? I know a lot of people right now are getting ready for classes to start. That is going to be fun. Oh, the Apocalypse Tau box set. If I didn't, like, I feel like I'm probably pretty good on the number of Battlesuits that I have, right? Like, including these guys, I felt like I was pretty good. Otherwise, I would have totally bought that just because, like, I almost wanted to buy it just to buy it, which is, I think that's not an unfamiliar feeling for a lot of us in this hobby, is that we want to buy it just to buy it because it's a cool box set. And I couldn't I couldn't justify the expense, unfortunately. Oh, cool. So you're sort of the MDF hex bases. That's cool. So yeah, I've been wondering like a good way to like. So one thing that I want to do, maybe at some point, right, is so like this is a model from Grimskull, right, and they have this awesome base that's a scenic base that this Darkstrider alternative sculpt is in, but it also has their logo on the bottom, and I thought that was a good idea, and I would like to do that for the models that I send out as a Patreon reward. It's a patron perk. I think that'd be cool to have an Invasive Wargaming base like that. So I need to look into figuring that out. I think that'd be cool. A good way of identifying the models that came out of this community. Yeah. It was such a good value. I should say it was. Like you can't get it anymore, I don't think so. But yeah, it was a good value. Hey Jack, thanks for being a part of the community. I appreciate it. I think we say this every time I do a live stream or like a milestone or whatever, is that the fun part about this for me is engaging with you guys and having the community surrounding the channel. So if it weren't for viewers and people engaging with the content, the channel wouldn't exist. So it, I appreciate it when people say that they enjoy the content. It does make a difference. Wait, okay, so I'm supposed to put like the things. Okay, so this is the weird part to me, right? Like, for one thing, like they didn't actually address the chicken leg thing, right? Where it was always breaking at the ankle. I mean, granted, this is a little bit more stable than the old sculpt in terms of configuration. I feel like it's less likely to get snapped in general. But they left that like point of failure intact in the design. I was hoping that they would bulk that up a little bit when they redesign these. And then like it just looks like so weird right now. I mean, obviously it's not completed, but it just looks weird. Yeah, I'm glad that you like the I'm glad that you like the Fireblade video. I can't remember who was it. Someone that comments on stuff all the time. I'm sorry, I'm totally spacing on who left the comment, but he said that, you know, hey, couldn't I just watch one of your list review videos? And I said, yeah, you could. But that's why I did the video, was because I think when I do the Patreon list reviews, we end up talking about the Counter Fireblade over and over again, and I think instead of doing that, I'm just going to say watch the video, because yeah, we sing the praises of the Counter Fireblade a lot, and I think just being able to have the one video is a good way to address that. But I think I'm just going to start at this point. I think I'm just going to start kind of working my way through the Codex. You know, let me know if you guys have a preferred unit that you want me to address. But at this point, I'm just going to work my way through the Codex. I'm not gonna deal with the 8 just yet, including Farsight, and I'm basically just not going to talk about Unshi or Unva, because I think my initial videos on those are basically verbatim what I would say today. So nothing really to report there. But yeah, I'm going to move. Let's see. So we have ethereals that I have to talk about. I probably should talk about ethereals again. I'm not sure if my old video really talked about how useful they could be. I think I probably didn't give them enough credit in that first Codex review. So we'll redo that one and then move on to. Did we talk about Fire Warriors already? I feel like we did. So we'll move on to other units after that. What are the chances that you review units that get upended by the new Codex? Pretty good. How many years? I've been doing this for like 6 years now, and how many times have I done a video on crisis suit loadouts? So yeah, we'll review the units when they get upended by the Codex. It's kind of what I do. Intricacies of rules. So like, what do you mean by intricacies of rule? I understand what you mean, but are there specific rules that you're thinking about, like commonly misinterpreted rules or stuff like that? There is a new Tau Codex coming at some point in the future. Not that that's been stated or anything, but I mean, I think it's a fair assumption that at some point there will be a new Tau Codex, but we don't know. It's not like it's going to happen next month or anything. I think September is going to be Dark Angels, based on the White Dwarf teaser. The Yvara, oh, that's a good one. We should redo that, because the initial Yvara video, I think I was basically just in love with the Yvara. We'll go with the less obtuse direction there. Yeah, the first video I was just talking about how great the Yvara is, and I mean, a lot of those things are true still in terms of the strengths of the Yvara in a vacuum, but relative to other things, the Yvara has really fallen out of favor. And so yeah, a review update of that would be good, because as much as I love the Yvara, it's just not worth it anymore. Okay. All right, so it's taken me 40 minutes, but I have the chest piece. I have the breastplates glued on it. Guys, we're working at breakneck speed here. I only have a month. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So like the heads are always the worst, right? Because you got to deal with the aerials. And those like they're always so finicky. But I guess that's how it's gonna be. All right. So I need parts number 46, 47, 48. What's the difference? Oh, just the number of dots and the position of the dots. I like how all the Crisis Suits heads and chest piece are just, okay, this is over here, and then this one's over here, and then it's just switched, and those are the variants. It's just positioning of the same part of detail, but just in different spots. This is a good, yeah, that's a nice bonding knife bit right there, right? Like, that's a good bond. I mean, that's the same size as the infantry bonding knife too. So that might actually just be a good thing to just take off and not put on a crisis suit, but to put on a fire warrior in order to make more Shazui. I might do that. I'm tempted not to because bonding knives are freaking sweet and I want them everywhere, but yeah. Okay, so I don't really care about which heads I'm using, so I'm just gonna pick the ones that show up here, because they all have the little like thing on the side. Jack, what, you haven't seen one of what? A Ivara? Like in real life or on the internet? Because they're all over on the internet. I'm not gonna dig mine out right now though. He's safe and secure. They are kind of a pain to store though because of their size. Like they're bulky and then they still have like weak legs. So yeah, they're they stress me out, man. Storing those things. The Varna too. Stressing me out. Too many pokey parts. And it'd be made out of resin on top of that. Oh, a bonding knife? Yeah. Well, there you did. There you go. You saw it. The thing about, I'm assuming this is still the fluff, but it used to be that they would say, well, you don't actually have to have a bonding knife on your crisis suit. They can just draw the bonding knife on there. That's something that the pilots would do, is just to indicate that they're bonded. They would have the bonding knife logo on the suit. Oh, what? Hey, this is a cooler. This head is way cooler though. This one has like this has a little like shark fin on top. Who is that? Is that supposed to be for the? They like don't even talk about that. They have to talk about that somewhere. How is that not? Oh, that's 49. Oh, right here. Okay. Why are those being presented as different? Like, why is it not all just? Okay. Cool, man. I guess I'm presuming that's supposed to be the Shazvray head, even though they don't call that out or anything. So okay. Shark fin is for bodyguards. Okay. Which are Shazvray. I'm gonna use the heck out of that bit though. I love shark fin. Shark fin head is awesome. All right. Shark fin head. We're doing that. Actually, you know what? Shark fin head. You know what? No, I'm cold on shark fin head now. I was hot on it. Now I'm cold. I'm over shark fin head. I'll use one, but that's it. Okay. But shark fin head has like special bits for him too, right? Yeah, he has special aerials. All right, I'll just deal with that later. No, I'll deal with it right now. So I need 52, 54, and 56. Or 56 and 58. Let's do that. It's not on that sprue. It's on a different sprue. 56 and 58. Right, this is the same. Oh no, I've messed up my sprues. These aren't the same sprue. Oh yeah, they are. I'm looking at it upside down. So there's 56. Listen, and you guys thought this wasn't going to be exciting. Finding the aerial bits. Wow. Okay. It's got to be over here then, huh? $59. What is that for? 59. It's a cool bit. Oh, it's for the lumpy head. Yeah, to buy Forge World in Russia, it's hard. $58. All right. Marker light modifiers do count in Overwatch in the way that every modifier counts in Overwatch. So your first marker light, there it is. Jesus. Marker. So the first marker light, rerolling ones will work, but like modifying your ballistic skill won't, because Overwatch ignores those modifiers. So you can reroll, but you can't modify. That's a good question. That's one of those things that I see come up a lot. People ask that. Maybe that's, I think on like the Tau Facebook group, there's like a list of it, commonly asked questions or something. I could just raid that for Jack's suggestion of doing a like common misperceptions video. Hard like cheese. Yeah. All right. We're getting this guy knocked out. Shark fin head knocked out. This side's going to be this thing. Can Lonely Tau Sept infantry hit Overwatch on 5s? Yeah. So, right, like technically, yes. Right. Technically, the Tau septet doesn't actually require you to be within 6 inches of another unit because um, individual units have that keyword, so they count as being within 6 inches of themselves. That's how aura abilities work generally, and so rules as written, you don't actually need to have a buddy, but I mean, I I don't play it that way just because that that's to me very clearly not how that rule is supposed to work. Otherwise it would just say this unit always hits on fives instead of sixes, right? Instead of having any of that language about being within 6 inches of another Tau sept unit. So it's very clear to me that's not how it's supposed to function, and so that's not how I play it. But if you want to go strictly by how it's written and um, do that, then there's a justification for doing that, certainly. But yeah, it's kind of a contentious question and something that GW really should address explicitly. I think it's probably one of those things where they're like, really, guys, we have to spell this one out, but yeah, they do. Cool. These super cool bases. They're just cork. They're just like a cork coaster ripped up and put on the normal base. So nothing fancy, nothing challenging to do. It takes just as much time to. Actually, it takes less time to base it like this than it does normal basing techniques. So yeah, that's all it is. All right, I'm still working on these heads, right? Yeah. I get one. I need 3 more heads. I don't think I'm gonna do the lumpy head for the iridium armor. I just don't think it. When the lumpy head first came out with broadsides, I thought lumpy head was super cool, and now I'm just kind of over lumpy head because it's too smooth for me, really. Like, I think the normal crisis suit head looks much better and fits with the overall aesthetic more than lumpy head does. I prefer, well, it depends. But largely I put helmets on for 2 reasons. One is it's a lot easier to paint helmets than it is to paint exposed heads. And 2, I like the uniformity of it. So, yeah. All right. Oh, in our search for the aerials, we totally forgot to just keep getting our crisis suits heads. Right. Maybe I do want. Let's see. So if I have 6, if I'm using a unit of 4 crisis suits, one of them has to be a Chesray, one of them has to have iridium armor, 2 of them have to be normal dudes. So that's right. So that's 4, and then I can have one more Chesray and one more iridium armor in the set. The problem then is that, yeah. Problem then I can't have like a unit of 5 without the iridium armor. I can't have a unit of 5 with 1 shed spray and 1 iridium armor. I'd have to have additional models in there. Okay, so the red dudes, this guy. I know this isn't what you're asking about. That's a shield drum. This is a XV9 hazard suit from Forge World. Right, waiting to get painted up. I told my wife one day, like when I was making these bases, I like included a few little bits in them, and I realized like the support system front plates are small enough and just like indescript enough that they make like fine like debris on a base. Like larger pieces like crisis suit heads, right? They're too iconic. You know exactly what that is, and I don't really want to have crisis suit heads everywhere. As battlefield debris, but these other things look like they're just little gizmos. You can throw that anywhere, and it doesn't really stand out. So, as making these bases, I put those faceplates on some of the bases, and I put it also on this guy's base, which I already obviously done. But I threw it on there, and I told my wife that I made significant progress on getting this model completed that day, just by gluing that one thing on. So that's a X-Men Hazard, and this is a Cold Star with Red Dog Mini dual fusion blaster guns. Okay, so yeah, so VR Law doesn't have anything to do with Overwatch, different than any other type of unit. Tau Sept, if you are within 6 inches of another Tau Sept unit, which technically it's within 6 inches of itself, so therefore qualifies, you get to hit on 5s instead of 6s. That's it. That's all we were talking about. Yes, you have a pile of unbuilt and unpainted models. That's how that's how that goes. Oh, good. I'm glad that Iroquois is talking about the Breacher squad I sent him. And if you can go on Facebook and you see at least one picture of the Breacher squad that I sent him for his Patreon reward. Yeah, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I think that's one of those custom color schemes where everything kind of like I something that I did when I painted that is I actually used the lightest color in the scheme, which was Administratum Gray. I used that to build up the colors to highlight it. So like the green isn't highlighted with mixtures of green and white. It's highlighted with mixtures of green and Administratum Gray. And by doing that in a few different places, it makes the whole model feel like it's part of the same color palette. So I was happy with how that turned out, and I'm glad that the number one thing is that you're glad with how you're happy with how it turned out, and it sounds like you are. So that makes me happy. Thanks. So how many XV8s do I have in my army now? So this is 6 right here, and then I have how many? I don't know. I did a video a few years ago for Halloween that had all my crisis suits on it, and I think I want to say it's like 15. So this is like 21 crisis suits or something. I don't know, something like that. I gotta figure out where I'm going to put these guys. Do I recommend Forge World Tau suits? Any models that you say are worth it? As far as battle suits from Forge World, I used to always say that the Ivara was absolutely worth it. Now I buy it if you like the mechanic, buy it if you like the model. Don't buy it if you want to have a hyper efficient Tau list. So I like the Ivara, but it's not something that I bring in lists anymore. Hazard suits, I think, can be really good in certain scenarios, but again, I don't think that they're a take all comers type of tournament list unit right now. So no, I wouldn't say any particular battlesuit from Forge World is really that valuable in terms of a competitive setting, but lots of them are super cool looking, and so on that aspect alone, there are many that are worth it. Yeah, so I used administrator gray to highlight up the green, and then what did I use? Yeah, I used mixtures of XV88 and Carrick stone on the brown stuff, and then the metal bits are Warplock bronze. Is that what that is? Yeah, Warplock. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, hazard suits are XV9. O'Reilly is not. I'd have to look at it. Well, yeah, I won't say definitively that he's not worth your time, but I'd have to look at him again. So these guys are going to get loaded out with magnets, but I actually bought a whole nother set of magnets just for this. They're going to get magnets, but then for the tournament, they're going to have 2 fusion blasters and a cyclic each. Yeah, so I guess a note on magnets, guys. And we'll probably be wrapping up here soon. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you get them in there now. Note on magnets. So a lot of times, when I buy magnets, I used to buy them from my local game store, which down in Indiana. And when I did that, they were very reasonably priced. And since I moved out of there, since I moved away, every game store that I've been to that has magnets has had them priced much higher. And so I decided to just look at the manufacturer, and they have them at that very reasonable price. So now I just order them directly from the manufacturer, Magecraft, and I just order them directly from them, and they send them in these really cool containers. One of the challenges with shipping magnets, of course, is that you have to have a buffer around the magnet. Otherwise, it's going to mess with computers and cell phones and other stuff. So it has to have like this bubble around it. And but yeah, this container is actually super cool. It has like a I feel maybe I should do a review video on magnets, but it has like a lock top, and then it kind of, what it reminds me of is like a warp core in Star Trek. So there's like the outer shell, and then there's the core that has the magnets actually in it. So so the new custom Fireblade sculpt. So I talked about, you might not have been here when we were talking about that. Basically, yeah, that Kickstarter is still happening. We're still going to get that sculpt. It's just taking a little bit longer than anticipated due to some logistical things. So, yeah, we will get a Fireblade sculpt, and we will have a custom Invasive Wargaming Fireblade stand-in that will be part of the. I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do that. So, if you guys have opinions on what seems like the most, or the way that you would like to be able to access that sculpt, whether it's like something where I do special offers periodically on Patreon, or if it's something that's included in certain Patreon levels, something like that. Let me know how you would like to be able to access those. Cool. So okay, I have to get these heads done before we stop. I'm not just leaving it the way it is. Oh. 3, 4, 5. I'll do another shark vid. We'll do another shark vid, fine. All right, and we found those other bits over here. Right. And 56. Maybe not. Okay. Now where did we put that other one? 58. 58. You'd almost think that I've never assembled a model before. Yeah, I do have I have a Canis Rex that I won at a tournament, and I mean, one was given at a tournament, and I have a what Loon Curse that I tried so hard to find. I was so excited to get. I have Loon Curse sitting there too. Both of those things are sitting new in box, and I have to do something with them. Well, I appreciate everybody spending their mornings with me in the U.S. and your evenings with me elsewhere, or maybe your very early mornings if you're on the other side. So if I could wish list a new auxiliary race sculpt for Cruder Vespid, what kind model would I like to see? Oh, so like not necessarily like a new sculpt, but like a new unit type. So I think then this is another video that I guess I've been planning to do is like a, how to fix different units. And Preferred Enemies did a episode a little while ago that kind of talked about this, and I think they had some good ideas in there too, which have influenced my thinking a little bit on it. But I think one of the things that they suggested was a unit that for like if Vespid like had some sort of movement impairing effect. And I think that'd be really cool. I don't think that necessarily needs to be the same unit as Stingwings. Like I think Stingwings would be a lot better if they just had like more toughness and were cheaper and had longer range or a higher rate of fire. Like pick two of those things and Vespid could be really good. But then, yeah, like some sort of like sabotage Vespid unit would be cool. And I mean, like you could do it. I think actually what would be really cool is a like a mixed auxiliary unit where you have like Kroot and Vespid and maybe humans and something like almost like a kill team. That would be super cool, right? And it would kind of lean into the fluff of the Tau as being this, multi-cultural society. If you had all these different, had like Kroot and Vespid and humans and Tau and like Demiurge all hanging out together, that'd be in one unit. That'd be really cool. Oh, it could be like like a lot of those like war movie, like Band of Brothers, or any type of like World War II movie where you have kind of like the different character tropes in the squad, in the in the unit. That'd be pretty fun. Yeah. I mean, I think UVESA rules basically would be like Guardsman rules, but with maybe for the greater good. I think that would be cool if they had like something that played with their leadership characteristic when they were fighting against Imperium or something like that. Like maybe they had lower leadership when they were fighting Imperium. I mean, that would not be good, but it would be an interesting mechanic. Is it feasible to have all crewed army? No. I'm sorry. I wish it was. I really do. If they ever come out with a Codex for crew, which has been rumored for years upon years, maybe. And in fact, I think crewed are so cool, man. Like, crewed are cool, and they should get their own Codex. There's plenty of things that you could do with them in terms of oh, I see. I understand how this is laid out now. There's so many things you could do with them in terms of unit types. Like they had the old chapter approved codex for them. That was really sweet. And you could, like, that is a good basis, a good starting point in terms of thinking about like different types of unit types that you could get. But you could take that much further. Okay, so these are on that side of the head. Oh, that's also on that. All right. We're making some progress here. UVESA with Savior Protocol. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think that would actually happen. I don't think that really fits with the fluff, but it would be fun. Okay. Okay. I don't know, maybe this was a good idea to try to build 6 crisis suits at once. I don't know, maybe it was not. So far it's going okay. I was really tempted to do like the custom poses on them, and of course I didn't actually do that just because they are. I thought like the box poses look pretty cool just as they are, so and they're probably not too different than what I would do anyway, and they are certainly better than the the poses that were available in the original kit, which were just variations on how, what position you wanted your arm to be bent in, because it's always had a 90-degree angle. So do you want to be pointing at the ground or at the sky or what? Crisis suits are not particularly good, no. But they are certainly fun, and the models are cool. And you can work them into the list and get value out of them. And the list can do well as long as it has things that can support those crisis suits. I wouldn't build I wouldn't build a competitive list based around crisis suits. That's for sure. Yes, broadsides are a great choice for a beginner list. They're relatively simple to use in terms of sit and shoot. There's not a lot of well, I guess, yeah. I mean, there are subtleties to how you position them and everything like that. But I mean, that's true for every unit. Like, you have to. That's part of the learning process. But yeah, I think it's a good thing for beginner list. Check out. I have a video. I have a video about how to start Tau that I put out last month, I think. So it's pretty high up there on the recent videos list. You can check that out. That has 3 different lists in there for you that you can basically use to figure out how to start Tau based on what type of gameplay you want to do. So if you're looking for something a little bit more fluffy, or something a little bit more competitive or cheap, like, I give you options for all 3. Yeah, broadsides, shield drones, Shadow Sun, strike team. Yeah, that is a way to go, certainly. Yeah, a how to paint video or series, that would be cool. I don't know if I'm the guy to do that, though. Like, I think like, the biggest thing about a 9-man crisis suit bomb is it's like, even though crisis suits got a lot cheaper, that's still a ton of points, right? Like, I have a this 5-man unit, or this 4-man unit that I'm building right now is like 500 points or something, all said and done, including drones. So, like, so you're talking about like 1,000 points of crisis suits in a single unit. Oh man. I think it's just hard to keep that. I think it's hard to make that earn its points back. Why am I having a hard time with this? Oh, because obvious reasons. Try and put the left aerial on the right side of a head. the kits come with enough fusion blasters to equip them with fusion blasters. No. Yeah, so Insect is correct that it's one per. Yeah, they do not have enough for that. So that's where eBay or third-party bits makers come in handy. Or yeah. I really wish I think it's kind of weird that given the level of customization that Games Workshop has built into Crisis Suits and other Tau stuff, that they don't offer like just a weapon sprue. They have the upgrade kits for other. They have upgrade kits for other factions. Why not just have a weapon sprue for Tau? That make things so much easier. If we could just buy a bunch of fusion blasters, or just buy, even if I think it's too much to ask for them to do that for every single weapon. Like have a sprue with 3 fusion blasters on it. I don't think that they would do that. And I'd like that if you could buy it per weapon, but I think more likely would be that you would get one sprue and it'd have 2 fusion blasters and 2 cyclic ion blasters and 2 missile pods and whatever, like all that on one sprue. And then you just have to buy multiples to get where you want to be. And I think that would, they would do that for monetary reasons as well, right? It's like easier to produce one sprue than have all these different sprues. And then on top of it, if you want 4 fusion blasters, but it only comes with 2, then you have to buy 2. You have to spend twice as much money. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, the different plasma and fusion. Yeah. Well, that's because every time they produce a new kit, there's slight variations on the weapon design. So like the Ghost Kill has a different design for its fusion blasters than other suits. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to call it there. Again, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for joining me in your morning, evening, or night. Yeah, and yeah, of course, just let me know what you guys think about any things we talked about in the comments below for those of you watching later. And again, just another shout out to our new sponsor. I'm really excited to have Tabletop Ready Miniatures on board. So, all right, thanks everybody, and yeah, happy wargaming.